You know, there is something else.
Mhm.
You're gonna laugh now. Have a wild guess what their conversion rate is.
25%.
2 to 3%,
Oh, really? Wow, that surprises me.
because it's a very high ticket item.
Mhm.
So the number of people that land on it, obviously not every one of them. So it said, I mean, that's their average
Mhm.
conversion. Of course, when you hone in on, like, they have different colors on those two
Mhm.
different types.
Yes.
Types are basically sizes, how much it covers, and then they have like 4 or 5 different colors each, and some of them do very well. They do like 8, 9, 10%, but no, you don't see 20%, 30%. No way,
Wow.
because it's a high ticket item.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's at the end of the day, what you said right at the beginning, as you set up the whole conversation, is why are they buying your product?
Mhm.
If you understand that, and then you put that in your content in terms of your pictures, your title to your main product picture to uh, support the click-through rate for the right kind of traffic, and then you bring it in, it's going to happen. But this is something else.
Then the other thing I also noticed is if you put stuff on, so the things that really annoy customers more than anything is when something is not on the page. So for example, if you're selling a vase and the vase, is 3 inches tall, and you can't tell how big the vase is from the picture. And so if you don't put information that showing the vase as relative size, you're going to get a lot of complaints about the size. But if you have that information on the page, you don't get the complaints anymore because the customer realizes, oh, it was my fault. I didn't look at the thing. I was lazy.
Yeah, on that, there is something else that I always recommend, and we do that with my clients. Is it's not enough to show the size of whatever you're selling in dimensions, in terms of inches or whatever, because people don't understand it.
Right.
So always put a reference picture,
Yes.
like, for example, a quarter or a battery, or something like that, to show the size of it, so that way people can say, oh, this is how small this is, or this is how big this is.
Yes. Yes. And it's difficult because Amazon, the main image, they require that the image takes up all the space. So everything looks good. And I mean, I've had a lot of jewelry clients over the years. Okay. And jewelry is the worst because, it looks fantastic in the picture and then you
Oh yeah.
get it and it's your diamond is minuscule. And so you get a lot of complaints that way. So, but that's one of the challenges.
Yeah, always put a reference picture. Like what we did with this particular client, they sell a kit,
Hmm.
and the kit has 14 pieces in
Hmm.
it. And so, I mean, at the beginning, I was actually part of the whole product development in terms of how it came to be what it is today. And it was all about putting in a box and whatever. But the box is huge.
Sure.
So, so I said, we have to put a reference picture. You know what we did? We put the box right next to a chair, because the box is as big as a chair.
Right, right. That's great. Great.
So it doesn't matter how many, because also another thing is, people can second guess. See, if you put like such a huge dimension,
Hmm.
people may say, oh, it must be a mistake.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
next thing is, this thing shows up at their door and they can't even lift it. So the funny thing is, one day I said to them, when you're doing FBA, so how many units do you fit in a box when you're shipping FBA? And he goes, one. Every piece is one box.
Wow.
So I mean, it's a pretty significant product, and that's
Yes.
why it's expensive. So
Mhm.
anyway, it's fascinating. So I mean, you know, for those listening, that you have the methodology. There is nothing stopping you. Just go and get your reviews or get your competition's reviews, turn it into who uses it for what, and then if they are satisfied and the other one
Exactly.
dissatisfied, and go to work, right?
And but the key is ask questions. Okay. And so because there's a lot of resources out there which will put the information together for you. And at the end of the day, you're not getting deep enough. And so what you need to do is you get the results and you say, well, what do the results tell me? And what do I do next? How do I dig deeper? Whether it's focusing on different segments of your audience, or how they're using the product, or different colors, or how can I break it down into smaller bite sizes so that I can really get a meaningful conclusion. Because again, as I said before, typically, just like what you said, the thing people love most about the product is going to be the thing that people hate most about the product, and the only difference is it's the different type of customer.
Yeah. And also, being the data person, I will say that when you do this analysis and then you find out exactly what to do and then decide what your action items are, first of all, don't go implementing them all at once.
Yes.
Number one, change one thing at a time.
Yes.
And then before making any change, go download your business reports and save it for that day. And then what you want to do is you want to periodically see how your conversion rates are. That's the unit session percentage that you would get, and download the one that is at child ASIN level. And that's going to give you your unit session percentage, and get your data right at the beginning of making the changes, and then get it and then look at it over a week, every week.
Yep.
And don't look at it like every week in terms of 1 week data, and then do calendar weeks. So what is week 10, week 11, week 12? So that way you have an idea of how your conversion rates are trending based on the changes.